are you thinking about buying a home and wondering what's the home process in New Jersey? In this video, I'm going to talk about the home buying process. So everyone, welcome to Wealth Building Wednesday. My name is Fei Yan, a real estate agent from Central New Jersey. I work with Keller Williams. I service in Monmouth, Ocean, and Middlesex counties. And today's video, we're going to talk about the home buying process. Now, here are a few steps that you need to know. The first thing is you need to find out what's your credit score. I have a video also talk about how to improve your credit score. You can take a look at that. And then you also have to prepare for a down payment. Usually, if you could get a mortgage for like 3 to 5% if you have 3 to 5% down payment, but usually if you have 15 to 20% down payment, that will actually help you, especially in this fast-paced market. And there's a lot of competition going on. The more down payment you have, the better it is. And always talk to a loan officer first and figure out what type of mortgage you're gonna take, how much you are able to afford, because it's very important you figure out what's your budget. And also get a pre-approval, because without the budget or pre-approval, it's very, very hard for a real estate agent like myself try to help you, and you kind of shooting yourself in the dark and you waste a lot of time try to looking for a house like ideal what you want, but then you might not be able to afford, or maybe you can be able to afford a better house. So it's always good to talk to a mortgage person first and get a pre-approval first. It also shows to the sellers and the agent who is going to work with you that you are serious, that you are ready to make a offer when you see a house that you like, right? Now the second step is to choose a real estate agent. I know a lot of people are thinking that nowadays you could go onto internet, you could see the houses that you want, and you could choose which house you want. And then you could also go to open house. You could call up the listing agent. It's always best to have your own agent. It's best to get a buyer agent, because the buyer agent, basically you don't pay the buyer agent. The seller pays the buyer agent. The buyer agent actually working for you for free. They could tell you about the market condition. They could tell you about the school systems and also like different areas, because every buyer, every agent, they should have local knowledge of the neighborhood, and they could help you out. And also a buyer agent should be able to help you to negotiate, should be able to help you to do research about the schools, and also help you to do a competitive analysis to see if the house that you're paying for is worth it. So all these research that you have, it's for you, is for free, right? Now, after you select your agent, you should have a session to talk about the locations that you want, the type of house that you want, and how many square footage the lot you want, the size of the house, how many bedrooms, how many baths, and age, and also condition of the house. These things are important. And then the agent should be able to help you to set up appointments to do some research and find out the housing that you wanted to see and set up appointments. It's always better to see like 5 or 6 houses during a day since you are already, you want to see a couple of houses. I mean, of course, in this market, it might not be a lot of inventory available, but if there's a lot of listings, you should see like 5 to 6 houses at one time when you go out. And also, it's best not when you go out, let's say you schedule for one house, and then finally, when the day you go out, you find 2 more over internet, and then you ask your agent to make an appointment. That's actually not the best way to work, because a lot of the homes that you wanted to see might require 24 hours of notice to show. And also, a lot of times, real estate agent might have other things that they have planned. So it's always better the day or 1 or 2 days before, and then tell him or her which houses do you want to see, so they can make appointments for you. And the day you go out to see the house, make sure you bring in some notebook and also take pictures for each house that you goes to. Because a lot of times the buyers see a house and then because they see so many houses during the day, they might forget. So jot down each house, the good parts for this house, the bad parts for this house. Does this house suit your lifestyle? Does it have enough bedrooms? Does it have a finished basement? Does it have a pool? And also you might need to look at like plumbing and electrical to see if everything is good, and looking for water damages in the basement, and to see the foundation has any cracks. And also look at the HVAC system to see when is the HVAC system is put in. And also how old is the roof. If you like a property, you can actually find out some of this information from seller's disclosure. You could take a look at. And then if you do like a property, you can ask your agent to do a competitor analysis to see how much this house should be able to value at. Of course, in this fast-pacing, very competitive market, it might not be matter as much if the CMA. It really depends how many other buyers are competing against you. But in a normal market, you should be able to have your agent to do a CMA to find out how much the house is really worth for. And then you can have the agent to find out the school system and the transportation and find out all that stuff for you beforehand when you put in an offer. Now, if you do decide to put in an offer, you probably have to look at some of the contingencies. Do you have a mortgage contingency? If you put it in, let's say if you don't get your loan, you should be able to cancel your contract without penalty. And also appraisal contingency. Does the house appraise? Because every bank, when they loan you a mortgage, they will have to send the appraiser to come out to appraise the house to see how much does it worth it. Sometimes the appraisal might come up to be less than the value that you offer at. Were you able to pay the difference? You have to think about these things. And also, do you have home sale contingency? Do you have to sell your house before you buy this one? And also you could look at inspection contingency. If some stuff come up during inspection, would the seller be able to fix it? You could put those contingency into the offer, and also you could talk to your attorney when you're in attorney review. So after you negotiate a contract, the seller finally accepts it. The seller will sign and then send it back to you. You will sign, and then you have to select attorney. Make sure the attorney that you select, it's a local attorney and who also practice real estate law. The attorney usually range from $1,000 to $1,450, depends who you hire. I have a lot of attorneys available that I could recommend to you if you need an attorney. And sometimes I see New Jersey buyers or sellers, they hire a New York attorney. Sometimes that might not be the best ideal, because a lot of New York attorney might not know the process for New Jersey, because it is a little bit different. And normally the attorney review should take 3 to 5 days, but in a fast-pacing environment like this one today, you wanted to get out attorney review between 1 to 2 days, because during attorney review, the seller could still accept another offer. And if the offer is better than yours, they could actually bump yours out. So you wanted to have an attorney who could act quickly and get out a review as soon as possible. So after the review, and then you had to send in the deposit. Basically, the deposit, usually it's written on the contract, it's 1 to 3% of the purchase price. Usually you had to send it to the seller's attorney. And you could ask your attorney for the mailing information you had to send out. Once you do that, then we had to do inspection. And you could schedule inspection. Usually inspection process, they give you like 10 days. So you wanted to schedule inspection right away. And whatever come up during the inspection, you wanted to give to the attorney, and the attorney is gonna write up to the seller what needs to be fixed. And then both parties need to negotiate what needs to be fixed. So once everything is ready, then you could conclude the inspection review. During the inspection process, and also the bank sometimes do at the same time, you could send like appraiser out. They could do the appraisal for the house and to see if the value of what you offer could be appraised at the purchase price. If it doesn't appraise, usually you could go back, negotiate with the seller, and sometimes you could split in half the difference between appraised value and what you offer value. But obviously, in this fast-paced environment, most of the time the buyer has to waive the appraisal. So basically, if you are under appraised, then the buyer will have to shell out the extra money, or they had to make the down payment a little bit smaller so they could borrow a little bit more, right? Now, after appraisal, then you should be able to get a mortgage commitment. Mortgage commitment usually take about 30 days. Once you get the mortgage commitment, and you also get the title research, and once the title is done, then you could do close on your home. Before closing, you probably had to do a walkthrough. The walkthrough will help you to see if the property still is in good order, because a lot of times when you do final walkthrough, the seller should be moved out, and also whatever you want the seller to be fixed during the inspection process, you have to look at those things if the seller fixed those things. And then after that, you will have a closing document. The closing document or HUD to be sent to you, then you could take a look at all the fees is correct, because as a buyer you will have to pay fees for your mortgage application, your appraisal, your survey, your title research, also funds that's established in escrow account that will be used to paying your property tax and insurance premiums. If those are good, then you could do the closing. Now once you have a closing deed ready, you should schedule a final walkthrough. Basically, final walkthrough just to see the property if it's still in good condition after the seller move out, if it's still at the condition that you look at before, and if no other damages by the seller. And also you wanted to see if those stuff that you request for the seller to be repaired, it is repaired. You want to check out those. And then usually the bank will give you closing disclosure, and then it will send you the closing disclosure 3 days before closing, so you could take a look at all the fees that you have to pay for the closing are correct. And the day before closing, you will need to transfer all the utilities to your name, such as the cable company, the gas company, electrical company. If you don't know any of the company or 1-800 number to call, you can always ask your agent. You could get that from the sellers. They should be able to provide to you. And usually during the closing day, you probably go into your buyer's attorney office, or could be the title office. The closing agent usually are from the title company. They could go through every document for you. So hopefully this concludes our buying process. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I can answer your questions in private. Or if you like my video, please subscribe and like. I have more video come out every Wednesday. We're gonna talk about real estate and also Central Jersey. So hopefully it will help you with the process. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching my video. I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.